Let us have a look at the athletes of this men's all-around final at the Pan American Games. This is the fourth strongest group of athletes from the qualification. The gentleman who will begin on the vault. Cesar Lopez of Ecuador, the 26th strongest qualifier, the 19-year-old. Dylan Jimenez Geraldo, the 24th strongest qualifier, the 25-year-old from Copacabana. Jose Lopez, known as Goosey to his friends, the 26-year-old from Puerto Rico. 21-year-old Johnny Valencia of Ecuador. Daniel Alarcon of Peru, the 21st strongest qualifier. And Caleb Falk of Jamaica, the 30-year-old, and the 27th strongest qualifier. This is the group that will begin on vault. And now to the group of the third strongest qualifiers. They will start on the still rings. Colombia. 25-year-old Andres Martinez Moreno of Colombia. What promise there is in Luciano Letelier, the 18th strongest qualifier from Chile. Adixon Trejo of Venezuela, the 34-year-old from Caracas. Julian Hato of Argentina, the 16th strongest in qualification. Andreas Perez of Puerto Rico, the youth Olympian. And Diorges Escobar of Cuba, a 21-year-old physical education student and Cuba's lone competitor at the 2023 World Championships. They march off to the still rings. The second strongest group of qualifiers will begin on the pommel horse. Pablo Pozo of Cuba. Isaac Nunez, the 23-year-old from Mexico, the Pan American Games champion on parallel bars 4 years ago. Rodrigo Gomez, the 25-year-old from Ensenada in Baja California. Audrys Nin Reyes of the Dominican Republic, the 10th strongest qualifier. Santiago Mayol of Argentina was 9th in the qualification. Representing Chile, Yoel Alvarez, the flags are flying for him, the 27-year-old high bar silver medalist at the South American Games last year. To the top group, the men who qualified first through 7th. And I say 7th because one of the men who qualified got 2 per country out. Only 2 per country can compete here. William Aymar of Canada, the 23-year-old from Laval in Quebec. The Brazilian veteran, a world champion on horizontal bar, Arthur Nori Mariano, 5th strongest. The man who finished 3rd in qualification, Diogo Soares of Brazil. Donnell Wittenberg, the 29-year-old from Baltimore in the USA, and the 2nd strongest qualifier. 25-year-old Cameron Bach of the USA is the top qualifier. And Felix Dolci, also of Quebec, the 7th strongest qualifier. These 6 men will begin on floor exercise. The Pan American Games champion has been introduced, but we do not know who it is yet. Looking over the names of former men's all-around champions, they are a formidable list of stars. Here is a look at the competition order in rotation 1. It will be William Aymar of Canada starting off on floor exercise, followed by Arthur Mariano and Diogo Soares. Over on the vault, Cesar Lopez of Ecuador will get things underway, to be followed by Dylan Jimenez Geraldo of Colombia. Colombian gymnast Yosimar Calvo won the title here in 2011. He was just 17 at the time. And sometimes that happens at the Pan American Games. Someone jumps right up and establishes themselves as a world star. Danelle Wittenberg of the United States, a man who helped the U.S. team win the gold medal in 2015 as well as 2 days ago. And you cannot count out the likes of Felix Dolci and Cameron Bach as well. He was the top qualifier despite falling on the parallel bars in his last performance in the men's qualification, which doubled as the team final. Also, Arthur Nori Mariano, consummate veteran from Brazil, a strong all-around gymnast who didn't train in the all-around for the last several years. In fact, I believe it's the last Pan American Games in Lima 4 years ago when he competed all 6 apparatus for the final time, and he's come back now. And someone like William Aymar of Canada could clearly make some noise at the top of this competition. He was 8th in the World All-Around Final in 2021 in his world debut, and this is his Pan American Games debut. Floor exercise is normally a very strong event for William Aymar. However, in the qualification, he did have a fall. And so he will be looking to do better than his 12.966 from qualification. William Aymar of Canada begins his quest for the Pan American Games podium on floor exercise. Front 2.5 twist, second pass, known as a Randy. And he is safely through the front double pike. He's made sure of himself on his first 3 lines. Arabian double front half out. One thing that makes his floor work so beautiful is his precision. His legs are always locked out and straight. His toe point is beautiful. He's very deliberate in his movements, and his twisting is superb. 2.5 to front layout, excellent. Triple twist to end, and he has nailed it. That is a very strong statement from Canada's William Aymar to begin this competition. Celebrating with him his teammate, Felix Dolci. They have trained together since they were boys. Aymar is coming off of what he called the biggest adrenaline rush that he's ever had in his career. At the World Championships earlier this month, Canada qualified a full team to the Olympic Games for the first time since 2008. And that sparked a joyful celebration in the Canadian camp. Aymar says that's more like it. He is no doubt thinking about the fall that he had on this apparatus in qualification. But today, this is the routine that he is capable of. Beautiful extension. His legs aren't crossed in the air at all. That is the way that gymnasts strive to do gymnastics. The score for William Aymar, 14.4, and it's a huge jump from the 12.966 that he got in qualification. Interesting. To Cesar Lopez. And back quickly to Arthur Mariano of Brazil on floor exercise. The Olympic bronze medalist on this apparatus in 2016. Mariano, too, is renowned for the beauty of his work. It's not just in the tumbling, it's in the transitions. Showed a Shushinova to his stomach. It's not a difficult move, but it's a neat one, and it sets his exercise apart. And he's happy with that. Arabian double front to end. A solid beginning for the 29-year-old from Campinas. He is one of the gymnasts who will certainly be thinking about potential Olympic qualification here. Brazil did not qualify a full team to the Olympic Games, though Diogo Soares has already secured his ticket as an individual all-around gymnast. Front double full to a 1 3/4, or 1 1/4 rather. Salto that lands on the stomach. Again, that's not a skill that we see too often. And for him, it's nice because it prevents him from having to land on his feet and potentially take a small deduction for a hop or a step like on the dismount. He'll lose about 1/10 of a point for that step. Now from Colombia, here is Dylan Jimenez. And a very lovely Kasamatsu 1.5 twisting vault. It looked very nice in the air. The only problem really is that he landed with both of his feet outside the tram line, so there's a 0.3 penalty, 13.833, the score that he receives. And 13.833, the number for Arthur Mariano as well on floor exercise. From the veteran to one of Brazil's emerging stars, 21-year-old Diogo Soares, The third strongest qualifier is on floor exercise. Steady double twisting, double tuck to start off. And his technique is off a bit on the front layout, coming out of the 2.5 twist, but he gets it around. He'll lose some execution for it, but it's not a serious problem. Triple twist to end for Diogo Soares of Brazil. It's a hit exercise for the Youth Olympic Games bronze medalist in the all-around from 2018. That competition, he also picked up silver on high bar and established himself as potentially a future star for the Brazilian team. And that is coming to fruition. It's a nice sequence of flares up through the handstand and down twice. As important to his difficulty as any one of these tumbling runs. Steady combination of front flips with full twists in the layout and tuck position. And here's his dismount, a well-rounded triple twist. On vault from Puerto Rico, Jose Lopez. And it's a really good roche in the air. In fact, he hung on to the tuck too long, and that resulted in him falling forward. 13.4 the number. And 13.4 is the score for Diogo Soares as well on floor exercise. And now representing the United States, Donnell Wittenberg in his first routine of the day. It's an enormously difficult opening tumbling pass. A front double twist to immediate double front in the tuck position. And he has downgraded, actually, his second line. He did that in the laid out position in the team final. Ambitious, going for a double front in the pike position out of a front layout full for a third pass. Most of the men who do that at all use it as their first pass. And it just underscores how much difficulty Donnell Wittenberg is capable of on floor exercise. Layout. He hangs on to it. Arabian double front, half out to end. It's a successful opener for Donnell Wittenberg of the USA.
Great start, one down. Come on, is this yours here? Oh, yeah. Yep.
Wittenberg took the silver medal on floor exercise at the Pan American Games in 2015. This is another look at his incredibly complicated opening tumbling run. And he adds a bit of style in his transition sequences as well. It's nice to see that a bit more on floor exercise for men these days. The line is in gymnastics, and great effort not to give away any landing deductions, and also not to step over the white line. You do it with 1 foot, you'll get 1/10 of a point deducted. You do it with both feet, and you'll lose 0.3. Meanwhile, over on vault, Johnny Valencia receives a score of 12.633. Donnell Wittenberg receives 13.9. He is down slightly from qualification, but not much. And now to the leader from qualification, Cameron Bach of the USA. Begins with a double front in the pike position, and he will lose about half a point for the landing, in addition to 1/10 of a point for going out of bounds with one of his feet. Steady 1.5 twist through to a front tuck with a full twist. Let's dismount, triple twist. A good beginning from Cameron Bach of the USA, the 25-year-old from Newport Beach, California. Silver medalist with the US team here in 2019. He also won bronze on the parallel bars. And with the US men's victory 2 days ago, he now has a Pan American Games medal of every color. Let's have a look at his opening run again. This was the only pass that was really problematic during the routine. He over-rotates slightly. Maybe there's too much energy, maybe it's nerves, maybe it's something else, and winds up going out of bounds. The rest of it was quite calm. And he ended things with a good triple twist, small step to the side, some slightly bent legs in the air, his ankles crossed too. All of those will be small execution deductions. Here we'll have a look at the vault of Johnny Valencia. Quite a simple Sukahara with a full twist. Johnny Valencia, just 21 years old, from Chone, competitor at the Junior World Championships in 2019. Meanwhile, Cameron Bach receives a 13.2, down just a couple tenths from what he got in qualification. From Canada now, Felix Dolce, the 7th strongest qualifier, but a man who has the potential to push up into the top 3. What an authoritative start. Front layout full through to front double pike. No back handspring needed for his double twisting double tuck. Strong, well-controlled double front in the tuck position. 2.5 twist to a front tuck with a half twist, kicks out of it. He too will dismount with a triple twist. That's a nice routine from Felix Dolce to begin. It's very similar to the exercise that he produced in the qualification, where he received a score in excess of 14 points. Here's a look at his first tumbling run. Twisting into the front double pike. Felix Dolce has now appeared at 3 World Championships, including, of course, in Antwerp earlier this month. And actually, this was the exercise that clinched the Olympic team berth for Canada. Here is Dylan Jimenez on vault, and he too opts for a rather simple Kasamatsu. His score 13.833. Felix Dolce, meanwhile, has gone up from qualification 14.566. That is an increase of 0.3 of a point. Let's take a look once again at the Colombian athlete on vault.
That completes the first rotation. Gymnasts, please proceed now to your second apparatus. Y con esto concluye la primera rotación. Damos paso a la segunda rotación.
And with that, rotation 1 is in the books in the men's all-around final at the 2023 Pan American Games. The so-called leaders group, who started off on the floor exercise, will continue on to the pommel horse. And there will be a 3-minute warm-up period for gymnasts just to calibrate themselves to the equipment. The standings after rotation 1, it is Felix Dolce of Canada in the lead, William Aymar in second place, Donnell Wittenberg in third. Dylan Jimenez of Colombia, after a very nice vault, sits in fourth place. Arthur Mariano, who started on floor exercise, is currently fifth. Cameron Bach, the leader from the qualification round, scored 13.2. He is ninth so far. And so as we take a look around the gym and the leaders on pommel horse now, there is much to reflect upon. Arthur Mariano will get things started for Brazil on pommel horse, followed by the 2 Americans, followed by the 2 Canadian leaders. Over on the parallel bars, Dylan Jimenez Geraldo will start off on an apparatus where the Colombians are typically very strong. They have had Pan American Games medalists on this apparatus. Donnell Wittenberg of the United States completing his warm-up on pommel horse. It's not an event that he is particularly strong on. It was his lowest scoring in the qualification, but if he can just get through and present a clean routine, he sets himself up very well for the apparatus to come, where he is excellent, still rings and then vault. This is the very concentrated face of Felix Dolce of Canada, the leader after floor exercise. And Cameron Bach, the leader overall after the qualification round. He sits 9th right now. Dolce too had a fall off of the apparatus in qualification. And though you never know, it might actually bode well that he got his mistakes out of the way, so to speak, in the qualifying round. It's very hard for a gymnast to produce 6 apparatus and 6 hit routines at this level of gymnastics twice in a row. And oftentimes at the major events, we see somebody that maybe nails everything in qualification and can't quite replicate that in the final, or vice versa. But all of that is sheer speculation and conjecture. Anything is possible. For Arthur Nori Mariano, Pommel Horse 2 tends to be one of his lower scoring events. 12.266 was what he had in qualification. And now on the Pommel Horse, Arthur Mariano of Brazil. Traveling Wendeschwing, keeping his legs together. And then the Wendeschwing at the end of the horse. You see his legs start splitting a bit, and a rather simple dismount. However, there is no major mistake in that exercise, and that is very good news for Arthur Mariano of Brazil. He is through on one of the apparatus that tends to make gymnasts very nervous. The start of the routine was very clean. His Magyar travel good, and that may be the most complicated element in the routine. He doesn't go through the handstand on his dismount the way that we will see from some gymnasts, and so his score is going to be maybe lower than some of the specialists, partly because of that. It's not a routine that is really full of difficulty, but it is one that is going to get him a score when he hits it, probably in the mid-12s. And it is 11.933 for Arthur Mariano on Pommel Horse. He is down a bit, and when you think about the leg separations in the Wendeschwing, the lack of a handstand pirouetting dismount, you can begin perhaps to understand why. Now to Diogo Soares of Brazil, the 3rd strongest qualifier. 12.9 was his score on this apparatus in qualification. He is, however, one of the best in his country on Pommel Horse. There is the Busnari, the very complicated skill up through the handstand and back down. Magyar flares, twisting his body as he flares and traveling across the horse as well. One slight leg separation in the Wu travel. But this has been a well-swung Pommel Horse routine. Diogo Soares lets out a scream of joy at getting through that. And wouldn't you do the same? The 21-year-old showing his strength on an apparatus that befuddles many gymnasts. He keeps his hips very high above the horse throughout the exercise. That helps. And he's careful through the busnari with his hand placement. Takes so much control, that skill. Good traveling Wendeschwing. And then there was 1 second perhaps in the dismount where you thought it all might go wrong, but it does not. It goes fabulously, in fact. Over on to the parallel bars and Dylan Jimenez Giraldo of Colombia. He's got a lovely line in his handstand and really quite light work. Swings well into the bobsar, very smooth. Actually dismounting off the end of the bars, a beautiful full twisting double tuck. What creativity and originality. Most gymnasts thrust themselves to the side and dismount that way. He does something different and unique. Donnell Wittenberg of the United States on pommel horse. So far, so good. Just the dismount. And Donnell Wittenberg is safely through on pommel horse. The exercise may not have the difficulty that he is capable of on rings or vault or floor, but he did very well. He did everything he could, as a matter of fact, to maximize his score. Scissor to handstand began this routine. And then he kicks into movements based around the basic circles, the traveling Magyar Shavado, down the horse and back. And it takes real strength to push yourself back up into a handstand pirouetting dismount, but he has strength to spare. 12.4 was what he received in qualification. A happy Dylan Jimenez Giraldo. And now to Cameron Bach of the USA. Classic Magyar, twisting his hips at the end of the horse. And what's lovely is to hear the other guys cheering for him on the sidelines, talking him through. Cameron Bach has hit his routine as well. And the US competitors can say that they have nailed both of their exercises on pommel horse. Cameron Bach is such a well-balanced all-around gymnast. He does not really have a weak apparatus. And this routine is testament to that. Strong swinging throughout. And a very nice full pirouetting dismount. Jose Lopez of Puerto Rico takes to the parallel bars now. Lopez was 11th in the all-around at the Pan American Championships last year. And that coming after he tore his labrum in 2021. Beautiful double front between the bars, catching it with his biceps. And there's real smoothness and finesse to his work. And another double front to a perfectly stuck dismount. What a great routine from Jose Lopez of Puerto Rico. 13.066, the score that he receives, higher than his marking qualification. We return to the pommel horse and the leader after the first rotation, Felix Dolce of Canada. It's a wonderful, unique opening to his routine, the scissor to handstand, and he actually changes pommels before coming down out of the handstand. No problem on his traveling Wendeschwing. And he gets off well. Felix Dolce of Canada hitting on pommel horse today, just like he did on floor exercise. He was quite rapid in his swinging elements, very efficient. 12.0 was his score in qualifying, 12.333. So his scores continue to rise. William Aymar of Canada on pommel horse. He currently sits in second place, and a lot will depend on whether he is able to hit this routine. Oh, there was a slip there, but he didn't come off. Well done to him. Oh, yes. Oh, very well performed, William Aymar. It was a narrow, close thing, but he made it through. What a fight we are seeing on pommel horse. Gymnast after gymnast going up and nailing their routines. Here's his handstand pirouetting dismount. Lovely finish. Back to the parallel bars and Johnny Valencia. And he comes off due to having clipped his foot on the bar, which disrupted his swing in that pirouetting skill. It's too bad because it was a nice beginning to his routine. He's only 21 years old, competed at the Junior World Championships in 2019. And this is a routine that has already happened. He was able to finish with a nice double tuck dismount. Johnny Valencia's score 11.5 on parallel bars, down from qualification due to the fall. Meanwhile, William Aymar has received 12.333 on pommel horse. It's quite similar to the 12.4 that he got in qualification. From Peru now, Daniel Alarcon, the 21st strongest competitor in qualifying. Front layout with a full twist dismount for the 20-year-old from Arequipa. Another gymnast who competed at the Junior World Championships in 2019. Gymnastics, he says, inspires me. And so many Peruvians were inspired by the Pan American Games in 2019 that was hosted in Lima. There's his stutz. Notice the slight hand movement before his dismount. He'll lose 1/10 of a point in execution for that if the judges saw it. Of course, it's easier to see it on a replay. 12.066 for Daniel Alarcon of Peru on parallel bars. And now to Caleb Falk, the 30-year-old Jamaican, and his routine on parallel bars. Caleb Falk has had a long and distinguished career representing Jamaica. He's been to 4 World Championships. He's worked as a coach in California as well. Stutz and a double tuck dismount. Caleb Falk of Jamaica completing his routine on parallel bars. He was actually quite offline on his Diamondov skill, but his experience shows through, and he doesn't come off the bars or really give away too much in the aftermath of that. Here's the dismount. Good high double tuck. The score for Caleb Falk of Jamaica, 12.0 on the parallel bars. And now to Cesar Lopez, the other Ecuadorian in this competition. Lopez, just 19 years old. His hobby, he says, is watching martial arts films. There's a slight hesitation in the rise of his hips on the Tapelt skill. That will be a slight deduction. And he went for the Healy turn, but made a mistake and had to drop down and drops off. Of course, anytime the gymnast falls from an apparatus, he loses 1 whole point. In addition, he is unlikely to get the credit in difficulty for the skill that he fell on. There's the Diamondov. And an uprise into a very nice straddle front somi. There's real promise in his work. His basics are very good. And this beautiful diver-like double pike dismount serves him well. Cesar Lopez of Ecuador receives 11.666, but it is a routine with potential. A look at the standings after 2 rotations in the all-around final. It is Dylan Jimenez Geraldo of Colombia, who has done 2 of his best apparatus, vault and parallel bars, in the lead. Diogo Soares of Brazil in 2nd place. Cameron Bach has flown up the leaderboard from 9th after rotation 1 into 3rd position. That said, there is still quite a lot of gymnastics to come. And for the group that started on floor exercise, the top qualifiers, pommel horse tends to be a lower scoring event than, say, vault. And so we might not have seen the last of the changes to the leaderboard. At the moment, however, it is Dylan Jimenez, the 24th best qualifier, believe it or not, who leads the entire competition. A look at the order on rings in rotation 3. Diogo Soares of Brazil will lead things off, followed by Danelle Wittenberg and Cameron Bach. The Canadians towards the bottom of the order, and Arthur Mariano performing 6th. Felix Dolci, the leader after rotation 1, goes to the apparatus where he is Youth Olympic Games silver medalist. And here's a look at how things will play out on vault. Rodrigo Gomez of Mexico, followed by Audris Ninreyes of the Dominican Republic. On his absolute signature event, Ninreyes was very close to making the apparatus final at the World Championships in Antwerp on vault. He was the odd man out, the first reserve.
That completes the warm-up period. Judges, please call your first competitor. Ha finalizado el tiempo de calentamiento. Comienza la
Here's a look at Joel Alvarez of Chile. Arthur Mariano completing his warm-up. Rings is, of course, the apparatus that he did not compete on for several years, opting to hone his skills on the other 5, particularly floor exercise and high bar. Only one Brazilian man has ever won the men's all-around title at the Pan American Games. That, of course, is the defending champion, Caio Sousa, who isn't here at this competition. But certainly it is a title that Brazil would love to retain. Diogo Soares of Brazil steps up for his 3rd performance, this time on still rings. Yonason to Yamawaki combination. 2 double fronts between the rings. Clean swing to handstand. Slight hesitation in the giant afterwards, however. And a giant to a full twisting double layout. What a calmly delivered routine from this gymnast who doesn't seem to be ruffled by anything at all. Extraordinary for someone who's just 21 years old after all. He opens up with a planche. Gymnasts must hold their strength skills on rings for at least 2 seconds. That's the basic L-sit position. And from there, he presses up into a handstand. And then into the meat of the routine, the swinging elements. Giant swing to handstand. You see the movement of his shoulders. Ever so slight loss of form before the full twisting double layout dismount. Excellent landing. So 13.233 the score for Diogo Suarez on still rings. That is slightly higher than what he got in qualification. To Danielle Wittenberg of the USA. This has the potential to be his biggest scoring exercise of the day. It was in qualification, and we'll discover why in just a moment. It's the Maltese position, and he pushes up from it into a planche. Backward roll to iron cross, flaring his fingers out. Just to show how easy it is for him. Doesn't give him any difficulty. It's more style points. His Yonason to Yamawaki, and again to a Maltese with the hands spread. That is unbelievably difficult work. It's going to be interesting to see what he chooses to do as a dismount. Double twisting, double layout. Wow. Danielle Wittenberg of the United States has thrown down the challenge. Diogo Suarez looks at it and says, well, what can you do after that? The position is gorgeous. Here are his swinging elements. And the most impressive thing is the way that he freezes that in the Maltese position. And here's the dismount. 2 flips and 2 twists in the laid out position. And he finds the ground beautifully for the stuck landing. 14.433 was what he scored. Rodrigo Gomez of Mexico. Very nice Kasamatsu with full twist for the 25-year-old. 13.866 his score. Danielle Wittenberg, meanwhile, 14.433 was what he got in qualification. .566 the score that Danielle Wittenberg receives. So he too is up from qualification. Cameron Bach of the United States is ready to mount the still rings. Steady swing to handstand. That is a requirement on this apparatus. The ubiquitous double front swinging combination. His dismount, double twisting, double tuck. Oh! Oh, and that is a shame just at the end of the routine. It was all going very well for Cameron Bach of the USA. Clearly, he put everything into the interior of this exercise. And it is always a big ask for gymnasts at this level to do all of their routines perfectly well in the space of 3 days. He competed 6 apparatus in the qualification, and now he's doing it again today. Just over rotates the double twist, and he's too low to step back and save the landing. And here now, the vault of Andres Nin Reyes of the Dominican Republic. Amazing height on his Dragulescu. The double front with the half out. 14.6, well deserved, well done. It is a vault done the way very few in the world are capable of doing it. And now what of Felix Dolce? Cameron Bach received 12.766. From Canada, Felix Dolce on the still rings. Good Maltese, pulls to a cross. There's his planche. And you can see his muscles just vibrating with the effort. The Giants are well controlled. The Yonasan Yamawaki is smooth. Double twisting, double tuck. Good landing, good routine for Felix Dolce. He has won prestigious international medals on still rings. And he really displayed such focus and tenacity in this exercise, doing the gymnastics that he has trained to do. Smooth, clean work. It's the double twisting, double tuck dismount. Plenty of time to go for a steady landing. Capping off a very nice set. On vault, Santiago Mayol of Argentina. The 9th strongest qualifier. And a very good Kasamatsu 1.5, just a small hop forward on landing. and 13.566 his score. Felix Dolci, meanwhile, receives 14.033. That, too, is better than what he did in qualification. Mounting the rings now, William Aymar. He might receive some slight execution deductions after his swinging sequence with the Janssen and the Yamawaki. He attempted to go straight to a Maltese. I'm not sure if he held it long enough, but there is no question that that is a stick. William Aymar, a steady exercise and an ambitious exercise on the still rings. Typically, he scores in the neighborhood of 13.6 on rings. 13.666 was what he received in qualification. Opens up with his typical, characteristic, polished work. But he was a bit low in the swinging elements and just straining with the effort to hold the Maltese. However, the dismount was excellent. Double twisting, double tuck, and stuck to boot. Chile's champion, Yoel Alvarez on vault. A very good Kasamatsu with a full twist, or the Sukahara style vault with double twist, 13.733 for the 27-year-old. And now a routine that will tell us much about Artur Mariano's prospects. 13.733 for William Aymar of Canada on still rings. To this point, the Canadians are doing very well. And now from Brazil, Artur Mariano on the apparatus that he at one point abandoned to focus on others. He has taken it up again because he has wanted to be an all-around gymnast. He wanted a shot at a Pan American Games all-around medal. The Janssen to Yamawaki has gone well. His elbows are slightly bent as he presses to the handstand. The judges will see that and take note. And a 1.5 twisting double tuck dismount. That's very promising for Artur Mariano. Mariano has put all of his energy into preparing for the World Championships and the Pan American Games. He hasn't competed a whole lot this year, but he's really been saving himself to give his best effort here. And that is clearly what he has done in this routine. And now Pablo Pozzo of Cuba on vault. And he was just about around with the Kasamatsu full, but didn't get a great block off the table. We'll see it here in super slow motion. To lift himself up into the air and really have time to set up a great landing for the two twists. 12.333 for Pozzo. Artur Mariano gets 12.5, very close to what he scored in qualification. He's been consistent on his apparatus, which is not his best. However, his best horizontal bar is where he will finish. Staying loose meanwhile, Felix Dolci. Isaac Nunez of Mexico on vault. Very good opening out of his body at the end of that Kasamatsu full. A twist done with flair, if you will, for the 23-year-old. Nunez, the defending Pan American Games champion on the parallel bars. Won that title in Lima when he was just 19. Slightly offline, and he will receive a 1/10 of a point penalty for putting just a few toes over the white tram line there. It's good in the air, however. He has very good form. He opens out for the landing. 13.833 the score on vault for Isaac Nunez of Mexico. And that concludes rotation 3. So we are halfway through the men's all-around final, and the picture is becoming clearer. After that fantastic performance on rings, Felix Dolci of Canada has retaken the lead. Donnell Wittenberg chasing, as is William Aymar. Dylan Jimenez, the leader after the last rotation, has gone down to 4th. Jogo Suarez certainly in contention in 5th, as is Audris Ninrayes of the Dominican Republic, who showed us that extraordinary Dragolescu vault.
En esta rotación, en suelo, Ecuador, Perú, Jamaica, Colombia y Puerto Rico. On vault, the United States of America, Canada, and Brazil. En salto, Estados Unidos de América, Canadá y Brasil. On parallel bars, Dominican Republic,
The top gymnasts
Argentina,
from the qualification
Chile,
round will
Cuba,
be on
and
vault
Mexico.
in rotation 4, and it is
En
Donnell
barras
Wittenberg of the US who leads them off. Cameron Bach will go second, Felix Dolci and William Aymar following, and Brazil will have the
On
honor
horizontal
of going
bar,
up
Argentina,
last.
Puerto Rico, Cuba, Colombia, Chile, and Venezuela. Y en barra horizontal,
Healthy distance
Argentina,
from the horse for
Puerto
William
Rico,
Aymar
Cuba,
in his warm-up.
Colombia, Chile y Venezuela.
Most of the gymnasts on vault don't actually do the vaults in warm-up that they're going to do in competition. They do something similar. Warming up Edixon Trejo of Venezuela, the 34-year-old veteran from Caracas. And we will head over to vault and Danelle Wittenberg of the United States. Danelle Wittenberg, a world medalist on this apparatus back in 2015. The same year he was a Pan American Games gold medalist with the team. And he actually won vault silver at that same games. Vaulting now, Danelle Wittenberg of the USA. Kasamatsu with 1.5 twists, great landing, just the tiniest of hops. It's a well-executed vault from Wittenberg. Good block off the horse, clean twist. Powers forward and gets very nice distance from the table. But maybe the best part of all was that landing. And now Cameron Bach of the United States. His one and only vault in this competition. Just like we saw from Danelle Wittenberg, very similar. Kasamatsu, 1.5, well done, small hop on landing. So within seconds of each other, the US gymnasts are done on vault. Julian Hato of Argentina, meanwhile, has been performing on the high bar. Nice catch of elements. One-arm giant. He's accelerating for the dismount. Full twisting double layout. And Cameron Bach's vault was so nice that we are seeing it twice. There are 4 things happening at once in the gym. Gymnasts currently on vault, parallel bars, high bar, and floor exercise. And here is a look at what Felix Dolci, the leader, did on this apparatus. The same vault that we have seen from Wittenberg and Bach. It's really a festival of Kasamatsu 1.5s in this men's all-around final. His 2, very well done. 14.4 the score for Felix Dolci on vault. And here's William Aymar. And once again, an excellent Kasamatsu 1.5. Delivered with his characteristic polish. That will keep him in the hunt as well. Strong work from the Canadian from Quebec. Cameron Bach, meanwhile, gets 14.266. And Danelle Wittenberg scores 14.166. Here's a different angle of William Aymar's vault. And once again, just note how good his line is, how extended his body is, how straight his legs are and how pointed are the toes. There have been a lot of Kasamatsu 1.5s in this rotation. From Arthur Mariano, we will see something entirely different. Round off onto the board, back handspring, 2.5 twists. That is the Schufelt vault, presented for the first time in international competition by the great Kyle Schufelt of Canada, and performed here with aplomb by Arthur Mariano of Brazil. 14.366 the score for William Aymar of Canada. Difficulty-wise, it carries the same tariff as the Kasamatsu 1.5, the Schufelt 5.2. But it's a very polished piece of work. Once again, look at the extension of his body, the perfect layout position all throughout the twists, and then blind landing. He finds the ground effortlessly. 14.333 the score for Arthur Mariano of Brazil. And Diogo Soares is at the end of the vaulting runway, preparing to perform. His vault is of lesser value, difficulty-wise, than all of the others in this rotation. It's a double twisting Yurchenko, but it is beautifully done. Half a twist less than we saw from Arthur Mariano. But it's a great piece of work. He just drops out of the sky. Perfectly timed. Once again, a round off onto the board. Back handspring onto the table. A double twist. And just the step backwards. Actually was a bit to the right of the board and comes onto the table a little bit offline as well. It doesn't affect him. The score might be a little lower than the others that we have seen for Diogo Soares, but he is still clearly in the thick of things. And now from Cuba, Georges Escobar, the 20th best performer in the world on horizontal bar. Beautiful extension on his connected Kachev skills. In bar stalder, where the feet come near the bar, but in between the hands. Oh, lovely double twisting, double layout dismount. Georges Escobar of Cuba. It is remarkably smooth work. There is grace and beauty in the way that he swings. Here were the Kachev release skills. First in the straddle position, the second one laid out. And this wonderfully launched double twisting, double layout with plenty of time to open out and go for a great landing. Diogo Soares is preparing to march over to the parallel bars. In the meantime, 14.033 his score on vault. Down slightly compared to some of his contemporaries. Andreas Martinez Moreno of Colombia on horizontal bar now. Martinez Moreno, 25-year-old from Medellin, the reigning South American Games champion on pommel horse. Kachev, Stalder, and a hop full. Dismount, full twisting, double layout, just a couple of hops and a step. Andreas Martinez of Colombia. This was his second highest scoring apparatus in qualification. 13.166 was what he received. It's lovely to see him competing here. He actually fractured his right leg in training in 2021, missed the Pan Am Championships, but he has made it back, all the way back, and here he is at the Pan American Games. And now a huge ovation greets the 19-year-old promise of Chile, Luciano Letelier. He is from Recoleta, just north of the city of Santiago. What a wonderful opening pirouetting skill, finishing right on top of the bar. That's what you want to see. Very strong in the Takamoto half, but unfortunately he's not able to connect it to the Kachev release. Oh, that's a shame. He is becoming an increasingly important member of the Chilean team that all trains together. And he's seen as an incredibly promising all-around contender. And despite the fall, it's evident in his work how much potential there is in this young gymnast. Beautiful Kachev series, great amplitude to his work. Full twisting, double layout dismount. And they love him here, Luciano Letelier. A gymnast that we may be seeing more of. That is a Takamoto skill with a full turn. And the way that he executes this, the aggressiveness, but also the good form that he displays, is just a joy to watch. Letelier took bronze on the horizontal bar at the Pan American Championships in Colombia earlier this year. Their vaults complete. The likes of Donnell Wittenberg, Felix Dolce, Cameron Bach, and William Aymar are waiting for the rotation to finish. There are still gymnasts performing on horizontal bar and parallel bars. 11.866 the score for Luciano Letelier of Chile. And now Adixon Trejo of Venezuela. Yamawaki skill to begin. Steady Kachev. Adixon Trejo of Venezuela, the 34-year-old, dismounting the high bar. Chalk that up as a good routine. Trejo, a highly experienced veteran. He had his World Championships debut back in 2011. He's competed at 3 of them since then. Interestingly, his last Continental Championships was back in 2018. And pommel horse is his specialty, but he is proving himself on this apparatus as well. A good, clean routine for the Venezuelan. The score for Adixon Trejo on horizontal bar, 12.333. And with that, rotation 4 is complete. And the standings remain the same. Felix Dolce leading the way, Danelle Wittenberg in second place, William Aymar in provisional bronze medal position after vault. Canada, with Felix Dolce, is leading the way in the men's all-around at the 2023 Pan American Games in Santiago. There are 2 apparatus to go. There is a look at William Aymar, currently in 3rd place. Warm-ups are underway for rotation 5. We'll see gymnasts on pommel horse, floor exercise, parallel bars, and horizontal bar. The top qualifiers group is on parallel bars. They will end on high bar.
On pommel horse, Peru, Jamaica, Ecuador, Colombia, and Puerto Rico.
But so far, no one has been able to top Felix Dolce. He has looked red hot on pommel horse. Competition will commence with Daniel Alarcon of Peru, Caleb Falk of Jamaica will follow him.
Estados Unidos de América, Canadá y Brasil. On horizontal bar, Argentina, Chile, Cuba, Mexico, and Dominican Republic. Y en barra horizontal,
Meanwhile, on floor exercise, Andres Perez Ginez of Puerto Rico will begin. He will be followed by Diorges Escobar.
That completes the warm-up period.
Brazil and
Judges,
Suarez
please call your
are
first
on
competitor.
parallel bars.
Ha finalizado el tiempo de calentamiento. Comienza la competencia.
Taking his warm-up now, Donnell Wittenberg of the USA. Short and sweet. And for Cameron Bach, this will be an interesting test because he is the bronze medalist on this apparatus from 2019 at the Lima Pan American Games. However, in the qualification round, it was the only place where he made a big mistake. He did have a fall on one of his swinging elements. Cameron Bach will start off the rotation on parallel bars. In the meantime, here is Andres Perez Ginez of Puerto Rico on floor exercise. A deep squat out of his double front tuck, but he saved himself a fall on his opening pass. Out with a double twist. Shows a double twist in the middle of his routine, rather. Good, strong Wendeschwings on the floor exercise. And a 2.5 twist this time to end. Andres Perez, 25 years old. He competed at the Youth Olympic Games in 2014, finished 30th in the all-around, but he's a gymnast who is just hitting his stride now. 12.866, his score. Over to Cameron Bach of the United States on parallel bars. Nice little front flip to open. Smooth. Lovely front straddle. Sami to his upper arms. And now comes the place where he had trouble. The bobsar is very good. And it was on this element that it went wrong. The Tipelt, absolutely no problems today. Double pike dismount. A hit routine for Cameron Bach to lead off the rotation for the United States on parallel bars. And he receives a score worthy of him at his best, 14.3. To the leader, Felix Dolce of Canada, as he takes to the parallel bars. Smooth heely turn. Good Diamondov. And a very nice flighted front straddle Sami. There's his Tipelt. It's good, clean gymnastics. Uprise double front with a half twist. Felix Dolce is on fire today. What a focused routine from the leader. And he goes to high bar next, where he is a world championship finalist. Let's take another look at this exercise. It's clean throughout, just displaying his brand of gymnastics. There's power and there's finesse and precision as well. Dismount, double front, half twist, and no movement on landing. 14.366 for Felix Dolce of Canada. That is an excellent score. And what of his teammate, William Aymar? William Aymar of Canada, currently in third place, moves to the parallel bars. It's a risky mount sequence. A clear hip straight to handstand from the springboard. Slight movement of his hands. That will cost him a couple of tenths, but it's not dramatic. That is more dramatic, however, having to bend his arms as he pushes to a handstand. Diamondov, and he's walking in handstand again. He'll get the difficulty of the element, but he is clearly not in control of his gymnastics at the moment. And oh, that's disheartening to watch. It has been going so well for him today. But really, from the point where he began the routine, he didn't look comfortable. And on parallel bars, Gymnasts must keep their rhythm. They don't really get time to stop, although they are allowed to pause in handstand, but there needs to be a flow that's established. Double front dismount. William Aymar finishing on the parallel bars. The season for Canada has been long. It's been intense and grueling. And he gave so much when it came to Canada's Olympic qualification. He delivered routines that helped them get there. He was a key part of the Canadian team. And the Canadians talked about it, coming down from that high and then having to come back up for this Pan American Games. It's a lot to ask of any athlete, particularly of one who puts so much of himself into all of his gymnastics, as William Aymar does. Parallel bars preparations underway for Arthur Mariano of Brazil. Every gymnast likes their parallel bars dressed a slightly different way. Some gymnasts like a lot of chalk, some gymnasts like a lot of water, some gymnasts use honey or other combinations of things to make them a little stickier. And it's one of the things that means that at the end of rotations, often the last gymnast to perform is on parallel bars. Preparing for his competition on parallel bars, Arthur Mariano of Brazil. And straight away, he is off. The mount did not go the way that he intended to do it. And once again, gymnasts are not allowed to stand on the parallel bars. And so far in this routine, he is down at least 2 points. It's very uncharacteristic and very surprising from Arthur Mariano. Double pike dismount. Clearly that is not the routine that he wanted to do, nor hoped to do. And he seems to be verifying something about the settings of the bars. He did that after one of his falls. It's a very difficult apparatus. This is a very difficult set. Like William Aymar, clearly from the outset, he did not look in his element. for Arthur Mariano, more is at stake here than just a Pan American Games podium. He is hoping to qualify to the Olympic Games through this event, and to do so, he will need to be the top eligible finisher in this particular competition. .833, the score for Arthur Mariano of Brazil. Now performing for Brazil on parallel bars, Diogo Soares. One of the team's great hopes for the future. It looked like he brushed the side of one of the bars on one of his early elements. He will lose several tenths of a point for it, but he will not lose a point for coming off. Double pike dismount. Just about hangs on for this stick, not quite. Diogo Soares on parallel bars. There was the place where he nearly bangs his hip on the bar, but he keeps things together through the double pike dismount. Very steady this. Opens out for the landing, anticipating the ground, and almost sticks it. Diogo Soares receives 13.833 on parallel bars, and for the moment that moves him into second place behind Felix Dolci. Still to come, however, this man, the second strongest qualifier, Daniel Wittenberg of the United States. Clean Healy turn. And he walks a little bit, really has to use his strength to hold that handstand. There's a bell, a double tuck between the rails. Good flight on his front straddle. Double front half out, that's a stick. That's another good routine from Daniel Wittenberg, who just has not flinched in the face of the challenge here at the Pan American Games. He is so seasoned and so experienced. An alternate for the US Olympic team in 2016. It's one of the things that has kept him in the sport. He said he still feels that he has more to accomplish. All time, he won the all-around title in men's gymnastics 4 times between 1991 and 2003. Full twisting double tuck to end. Again, problems on the landing and on some of his other landings for Diorges Escobar. Still a very talented gymnast. 12.166 his score. And let us have a look at the performance of Andres Martinez Moreno of Colombia on floor. Good high double twisting double tuck to begin, but steps out of bounds with both feet. That will be a penalty of 0.3 of a point. Two and a half twist to front layout. Andres Martinez Moreno was the undisputed star of the Bolivarian Games last year. He won 5 gold medals, including in the all-around and on-floor exercise. He dismounts with a very, very clean triple twist. .166 his score. And with that, rotation 5 comes to an end. Felix Dolce of Canada is 1 routine away from winning the Pan American Games title. And for Canada, it would be downright historic. It has not been since 1959 that a Canadian man has stood atop the podium in the all-around in men's artistic gymnastics. That man was Wilhelm Weiler. And no Canadian has been able to do it since. Chasing Dolce, Donnell Wittenberg of the United States and Diogo Soares of Brazil. Wittenberg having received 13.6 on the parallel bars. And an interesting development in terms of the Olympic qualification picture, Audrys Nin Reyes of the Dominican Republic, a man who is thoroughly impressive on vault, will move to floor exercise. He is currently in 5th place, and if he is able to retain his status as the top eligible qualifier, a gymnast who has not qualified himself to compete at the Olympic Games through his performance at the World Championships, which he didn't, although he was not far off. And since the Dominican Republic does not have a team qualified to the Olympics, at the moment, he is the person who would get the Olympic spot, but he must be the top gymnast who is eligible in this competition to do so.
El suelo representando a Chile.
Rotation 6 on the horizontal bar. We will begin with Felix Dolci, the leader. But first, over to the floor exercise and Joel Alvarez of Chile. The Arabian double front is what the national champion begins with. He sticks his full twisting double tuck. Two and a half to front layout. Alvarez is described as shy and incredibly focused, calm competitor. Over to the high bar, and Felix Dolci of Canada, the leader, with a chance and history for his nation. Cassina, full twisting double layout. He has caught the bar. Doesn't end there. Tucked Kovac. Very steady. Oh, but the Kachev has all gone wrong. He is not able to swing a clean giant out of it. It is the first crack in the foundation that we have seen from Felix Dolci today. And his lead over Danelle Wittenberg going into this rotation was 1 point exactly. That is exactly what he will lose for the fall. And the men's all-around final at the Pan American Games has just become very interesting indeed. He fought. Felix Dolci fought to control the rest of that routine, and he succeeded. Clearly, the score will be lower than what he received in qualification. He was only the 7th strongest qualifier. 12.766 was his score on high bar. Here's a look at the place where he just did not catch the bar with his hands. He got his hands around the bar, but it was such a struggle for him to swing out of it. And then came the fall. The dismount, however, was very good. Well-flighted, double twisting, double layout. And once again, perhaps the fatigue after the World Championships, after the high of Olympic qualification, physical and mental, has played a factor. .833 the score for Felix Dolci. It is actually higher than what he got in qualification, where he also had a major mistake. William Aymar of Canada on high bar. And problems as well. Really, what we may be seeing is the after effect of the World Championships, of two major competitions nearly back to back with so much at stake. And then two 6 apparatus performances within the space of 3 days. And once again, it's a reminder perhaps of how hard gymnastics is and how these athletes make it look so easy most of the time. But every now and again, there is a reminder at how much this sport takes, how difficult it is to make this look so easy. He is a wonderful gymnast, William Aymar. 8th strongest in the world in 2021. But not every day is one's day. However, there is so much to look forward to for him. Over on the still rings. And this is Cesar Lopez of Ecuador. Nice Yamawaki Yonason combination. Drops down to an iron cross. Dismount, 1.5 twisting, double tuck, the same thing that we saw a little earlier from Arthur Mariano of Brazil. And Lopez's score, 13.0. Despite his fall on the horizontal bar, Felix Dolce of Canada remains in the lead, but many of the heavy hitters from the qualification round are still to perform. Here is Dylan Jimenez Geraldo of Colombia. he will end his day on the still rings. Good Maltese position. And a lot of effort was put into that iron cross. Yonason to Yamawaki. The rings have picked up a bit of swing, and that makes it harder for the gymnast, especially when he's trying to hold a handstand. It takes so much more strength to remain still. Full twisting, double layout. Oh, but just a bit short for Dylan Jimenez. Jimenez, 25 years old from Copacabana. He actually won bronze on the rings at the South American Games last year. Standings at the moment: Felix Dolce of Canada in the lead, Yoel Alvarez of Chile in second place, Isaac Nunez of Mexico is in third right now. Still to compete: Arthur Mariano of Brazil, Danelle Wittenberg of the United States, Jogo Soares of Brazil. The score for William Aymar on high bar has yet to come in. And it is worth noting that though Felix Dolce did fall on horizontal bar, he's had marked improvement elsewhere. 9.066 for William Aymar. Arthur Mariano of Brazil, and the apparatus in which he won the world title in 2019. Good Takemoto half, combined with a Liukin. Kachev with full twist in the layout position. Takemoto full to Yamawaki. Layout Kachev to classic Kachev in combination. He is doing everything that he possibly can to make this a clean exercise. Double twisting, double layout, great landing. Well, the recovery for Arthur Mariano after that very difficult routine on parallel bars. It has happened. There's a wonderful variety of skills in this exercise, beginning with the Liukin. Also the Kachevs in combination, Stalder work, and finally double twisting, double layout. Executed very much in the way that he did that when he won the world title in Stuttgart 4 years ago. Nice position in the air. Dylan Jimenez Geraldo earns 11.666 for his performance on the still rings. Next to go will be Diogo Soares of Brazil. Now on rings, Jose Lopez of Puerto Rico. He pushes up from his cross into an L-sit. Oh, but this is a complicated handstand for him to hold. The Yamawaki to another iron cross. He just seems a bit compressed, some of these strength elements. Double twisting, double tuck dismount, however. Jose Lopez, the 23rd strongest qualifier to this final. He was a vault finalist in Lima in 2019 as well. On high bar now, Diogo Soares of Brazil. A man with significant medal potential. Begins with Takamoto elements. The full and then the half. Good layout Kachev. Straddle Kachev. One arm giant. And a full twisting double layout dismount. Diogo Soares of Brazil has hit on horizontal bar. This man followed his sister into the sport, and he said it was competing at the Youth Olympic Games, where he won silver on the high bar in 2018 that really flicked the switch in his mind and gave him willpower to continue. 14.5, meanwhile, the score for Arthur Mariano. That is an excellent number, befitting of the world champion. Soares in the qualification had 14.033. Very clean routine. He finishes off with this well-flighted full twisting double layout. The number they are all chasing at the moment, 82.531. That is the all-around total accumulated by Felix Dolce of Canada. Preparing now, Danielle Wittenberg of the United States. Danielle Wittenberg of the United States of America on high bar with a strong chance for a medal at the Pan American Games. Takamoto half to lay out Kachev. That was good. Takamoto full that finishes right on top of the bar. That was very good. Double twisting, double layout. Danelle Wittenberg, well, well, well. It has been an excellent day at the games for Danelle Wittenberg. The 29-year-old from Baltimore has given one of the all-around performances of his career. 13.6 for Diogo Soares of Brazil, down about 0.4 of a point from what he presented in the qualification. Let's have another look at the routine of Danelle Wittenberg. The number that he needs to move past Felix Dolce is 13.833. Rather, he needs 13.834. In qualification, Danelle Wittenberg received 13.366 on horizontal bar. And so we have entered perhaps the most suspenseful few moments of the competition. As the judges tabulate Danelle Wittenberg's score. Readying to perform Cameron Bach of the USA. .066, the score for Danelle Wittenberg. That moves him into the provisional bronze medal position behind Dolce and Diogo Soares. Currently in 4th position, Andres Ninrayes of the Dominican Republic. Podium or not, that is a significant result for his fortunes. And Cameron Bach has had trouble on what they call a Czech giant, something that really presents a lot of challenge to the shoulders. And although he has not had the easiest day either, he is a consummate all-around performer, Cameron Bach. Giants in endo position. Once again, very taxing on the shoulders. Cameron Bach of the United States dismounts. A man with a medal from all colors at the Pan American Games, gold, silver, and bronze. It is not to be for him in this all-around competition. But he is leaving here a team champion. And someone that we will see again. And there is the man from Canada. The man from Canada who will stand atop the Pan American Games podium. Just a few more routines to account for. On still rings now, Johnny Valencia of Ecuador. Struggle in the handstand for the 21-year-old. Such a taxing competition. And he too is showing the signs of fatigue. 3 days and 2 full all-around competitions done for Johnny Valencia of Ecuador. Receiving congratulations for his day, Cameron Bach of the United States, 12.466. And the Canadian flag has been unfurled for the Pan American Games men's all-around champion. For the first time since 1959, a Canadian man is standing on top of the Pan American world. Congratulations to Felix Dolce. Jogo Soares of Brazil will win the silver medal, and Daniel Wittenberg, 8 years after his last performance at the Pan American Games, will have bronze. But it is Canadian history written by Felix Dolce that is the story of the day. The 7th strongest qualifier has risen to the top. For Chile, Joel Alvarez finishes in 6th place. The classified results in the men's all-around final at the Pan American Games: Felix Dolce takes the gold, Jogo Soares of Brazil the silver, bronze to Daniel Wittenberg of the United States, and a most significant 5th place finish for Andres Nin Reyes of the Dominican Republic.
Thank you to all of our athletes and coaches, and we invite you now to exit the field of play.
Agradecemos la participación de atletas y entrenadores y ahora los invitamos a hacer abandono del foro. Muchas gracias.
A look down the order in the men's all-around final. The 24 athletes who competed here, the results have been decided.
Agradecemos también a todos los jueces y los invitamos también a hacer abandono del foro.
And there is the men's all-around champion of the 2023 Pan American Games, Felix Dolce of Canada. And what a spectacular competition he had. And for him as well, a bronze medalist in the all-around at the Pan American Games. Well, it has been quite an afternoon in Santiago, and it is destined to be quite an evening as well. The women's all-around competition will get underway in about 2.5 hours in this very arena. In just a moment, we will bring you the medal ceremony for the men's all-around final at these Pan American Games. And after that, in just a couple hours' time, the women take the stage. Let's have a look back at the highlights. Coming up in just a few moments, the all-around victory ceremony in men's artistic gymnastics at these Pan American Games. Welcome to the men's all-around victory ceremony in artistic gymnastics at the 2023 Pan American Games in Santiago, Chile. "60 years ago, a Canadian man named Wilhelm Weiler won the men's all-around title at the Pan American Games in Sao Paulo, Brazil. The Canadian nation has waited 60 years, 6 decades, for another man to emerge as the all-around champion in gymnastics. And tonight, one has. 12 men have won the Pan American Games all-around title. Tonight, a lucky 13th has stepped forward in the form of Felix Dolce. And what a final it has been. In just a few moments, the medalists will march out and receive their long-awaited, well-deserved prizes. It's the victory ceremony in the men's all-around in artistic gymnastics at the Pan American Games. Welcome. It has been quite a day for the host nation as well. Their national champion, Yoel Alvarez, has finished 6th in the all-around. A fantastic result for Chilean gymnastics. And wonderful for the 27-year-old as well, who trains in this city with the national team. Brazilian fans have much to rejoice about as well. They have the silver medalist in Diogo Soares. National team members from Chile inspiring the young generation. At moments today, especially when the Chilean gymnasts were performing, this arena just erupted in applause.
The Santiago 2023 Pan American Games presents the men's individual all-around medal ceremony.
Los Juegos Panamericanos Santiago 2023 presentan la ceremonia de premiación de la final general individual masculina.
Please
Please welcome the medalists.
Por favor, demos la bienvenida a los medallistas.
The medals will be presented by Suzanne Lyons, Panam Sports Executive Board Member.
Las medallas serán presentadas por Susan Lyons, miembro del Comité Ejecutivo de Panam Sports.
Accompanied by Arturas Mikovics, Technical Delegate of Men's Artistic Gymnastics of the International Gymnastics Federation.
Acompañada por Arturas Mikovics, Delegado Técnico de Gimnasia Artística Masculina de la Federación Internacional de Gimnasia.
Bronze medal, the United States of America.
Medalla de bronce, representando a Estados Unidos de América, Donnell Wittenberg.
Bronze medal to Donnell Wittenberg of the USA. His sixth medal, but his first all-around medal at a Pan American Games. Having helped the United States win gold 2 nights ago, he lifts himself to bronze. The 29-year-old from Maryland who has stayed in the sport because he felt he had more to give. He has proven that today. The bronze medal to Donnell Wittenberg.
Silver medal, representing Brazil.
Medalla de plata, representando a Brasil, Diogo Suárez.
21 years old and so very promising. Diogo Suárez of Brazil steps up to accept the silver medal. We've spoken so much about his potential. He has lived up to it fully today. The silver medal to Diogo Suárez of Brazil.
Gold medal and Pan American Games champion, representing Canada.
Medalla de oro y campeón de los Juegos Panamericanos representando a Canadá, Felix Dolce.
The gold medal goes to Canada and Felix Dolce. The 7th strongest qualifier has risen to become the Pan American Games champion. And somewhere there is an 87-year-old named Wilhelm Weiler who is probably smiling. He was the champion 60 years ago, the last Canadian to earn the title before today. The gold medal to Felix Dolce of Canada.
Ladies and gentlemen, the national anthem of Canada.
Damas y caballeros, el himno nacional de Canadá.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Pan American Games medalists.
Damas y caballeros, los medallistas de los Juegos Panamericanos.
The medalists of the men's all-around in gymnastics at the 2023 Pan American Chanel Wittenberg of the United States, silver to Diogo Soares of Brazil, and gold to Felix Dolce of Canada. What a moment for these three incredible gymnasts.
Thank you for being part of the Santiago 2023 Panam.